Hello folks, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and we are in the Python basic series for beginners. Our today's topic of discussion is creating a list by taking elements from user input. Alright, so let's start with the code. We will first create a empty list. List is equal to empty, just using the square braces without any element inside it. Now user will be asked for how many number of elements he wants in the list. So I'll take a variable n is equal to int input how many number of elements does he want. So that should be specified number of elements. Then next is, once this number of elements are decided, we will have to run a for loop and take each element at a time. So for I in range 0 to those number of elements, what we will do next is we will write a code to take that particular element in the list. So a is equal to int input again. To take each and every number, we will have to mention input again. All right, after this we will have to, whatever the number is entered by the user, we'll have to append that to the list. So we have an append method for that. That's the reason lst dot append whatever the number that will be stored in a, and then simply print the list. Now what has happened in this for loop is, if say user types in number of elements 3, so the range will become 0 to 3, and for the first iteration when I is equal to 0, okay, the user will enter int input any number that will get appended to list A using the append method. Look at this line, we are appending that particular element. After that it will the for loop will continue for element 1, and then will also continue for element 3, and then will get exited as the range will exit, range will be exhausted. So 0, 1 and 2, because if you user enters 3, 3 will be excluded. All right, so the for loop will run for 3 times and you will get the list of 3 elements that are entered. So let's see, by executing this code, number of elements 3, first entered element would be 2, 4, and then 6, and you get a list 2 comma 4 comma 6. All right, so this is how we can get integers in list from the user input. We'll write the same code using list comprehension. List comprehension is shorter way to write a loop while creating a list. Let's see how we can do it. So I'll go to the code and just take the code. I had kept the code ready beforehand to save some time for us, and let's see what this code does. So whatever I want to write in a for loop, I will write it in this variable list1. So list1 for I in range whatever the input user gives. Okay, so this entire thing, input number of elements, and that was mentioned earlier, number of elements to be input, I have taken in one single statement. Instead of using that variable in, what I have done, I have taken input straight away, that statement straight away, and whatever we want to do in the for loop is written before the for loop. So what I want to do in that for loop is I want to get the element that is entered by the user appended to the list. That is what I want to achieve. So let's see if this serves our purpose. This is something called as list comprehension. In a single line, we take one variable and store everything that we do in the for loop. Let's see. Let's run this code and see what happens next. So you might be aware of this f. This is something that was used for string formatting, and I plus 1 for asking for the first number, for second number, and so on. And then for I in range, that means the iteration will continue till the range for the number of elements that is entered by the user, and that entire thing will be stored in a list. All right, so let's run this one. See, now it is asking for the number of elements. I'll enter number of elements to be 2. Okay, then enter the element 1. Suppose I enter 3, and then enter the element of 2. I enter 3, and I enter 5, and the output I will get is list created by user is 3 comma has the elements 3 comma 5. So these were the two ways in which we can take elements from the user while creating a list. I hope you are able to grasp these concepts. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.